Hi, I'm Chas, and you're watching Chas's Crazy Creations. Head on over to Dollar Tree and grab a few supplies. We are going to make some awesome DIY Valentine crafts. Let's get started. What? There's a materials list? Look for the link in the description below. For this project, I'm using a wooden love sign and a strand of LED lights. You have to decide which way you'd like to use them first. You can glue them on the front side, or you could wrap them around the entire sign. You could also go around the edges of the sign and glue them on that way. What I'm going to be doing is flipping it over to the back side. Now I've mapped out kind of where I want the LED strand of lights to go, and then I just use my hot glue gun to hot glue the LED lights into place so that none of the wire shows on the front side. I continued doing that across the entire back until the whole thing was done. I also took off the string on the top. I just cut it right off. I didn't need it, but you could leave it if you'd like. Here it is all finished, and I love how it turned out. You can see it by day or evening. For these next few projects, we're going to focus on some window clings, and I'm going to start with this mug. And I cleaned it off with a rubbing alcohol prep pad, and then I placed the window clings onto the mug. This makes a fun and festive beverage glass. You can do this to glasses as well to use, and at the end of the season, you just peel them off and you can put the next ones on if you want. I have a jar candle here, and you can use any size jar candle you want. All you simply have to do is place a window cling on the outside. At the end of the season, if you're not done using the candle, peel it off, place the next one on, or leave it plain. This works for candle holders too, so simply clean off your glass and place your window cling on it. Now you can use real tea lights, or you can use battery operated ones. You can also use this to hold snacks or even pens. You can use it for a lot of different things besides just a candle holder. For this one, I did opt to use a tea light, and you can see it here in the day or in the evening. Now, if you're not a fan of real candles, no problem. Just place a window cling on a battery-operated LED candle instead. For this one, I placed it in my bathroom on a hanging candle holder, and then I added a little Dollar Tree wreath around it, and I love the way it turned out. And you can do this to vases too. So clean off the vase and then add your window cling to it. Now, obviously you can put flowers in it if you'd like. You can put a lot of different things, even candles in these things if you'd like. But I'm going to show you something else that I'm going to do. So instead, what I'm going to do is place something inside that can be a gift or for fun. So I'm going to place these date night cards inside, and each date night card has a different idea or an activity of something to do. And you can make as many of these as you want. Then each time you're ready, just simply pull out a date card, and that's something you can do. You can make kids coupons, or you could use them to hold Valentine's, like your Valentine's Day card holder also. So lots of things can go inside this. For this project, you're going to need a picture frame. Start by pulling the picture frame apart. Next, make a printable. I made a Valentine's to-do list. You can find mine in the link in the description below. Make a list of things that you want to do, put the whole frame back together, and use a dry erase marker. You can check off the list or add your own, and then when the season is done, you simply erase and reuse. Which one is your favorite so far, or do you have some ideas? Let me know in the comments below. For this project, you're going to need a chalkboard and some decals. I'm using an I Love Paris decal that I found at the dollar store, and I'm peeling it off and placing it onto the chalkboard. The great thing about this is it's a temporary solution, so I can decorate for Valentine's Day, peel it off. I can even save that adhesive as long as it's still sticky and use it again next year, and then I can create something else on this chalkboard entirely. For this project, I'm using a picture frame, and I'll start by pulling it apart. Then I'm going to use some doilies, and I'm going to place them onto the picture frame. Now, you could create any design you like. You could even use napkins for this instead, or peel and stick paper, or craft paper, whatever you like. I'm placing the doilies onto the glass, and then I'm going to use the back side of the picture frame to put it all back together. Now, depending upon the art you created, you could leave it as is, or you can grab a dry erase marker and use it as a message board. You can also use it to play games on, write things you're grateful for, and you can also just draw pictures on it and have fun with it. When you're done, simply erase and reuse. For this project, I took a doily and I cut it into the heart shape but just a little smaller. Then I grabbed some Mod Podge and an old pickle jar. I put Mod Podge on the jar and placed the doily on top of the Mod Podge, and then I sealed it by placing another layer of Mod Podge over the top of the jar. I added a color changing LED light to it, and I'll be showing you another idea that I did with it in a future video. For this project, I found a chalkboard and some letters over at the Target dollar spot. I placed command strips on the back of the letters and attached them to the chalkboard for some easy art for Valentine's Day. For this project, I'm using a glass block, jelly window clings, and a strand of lights. I placed the window clings on the glass block with the lights inside, and I had a very cute little nightlight display for my bathroom. For this easy display, I grabbed a heart-shaped dish, and then I placed a candle in the center and surrounded it with a bunch of heart scatter. Here's another quick example of the recycled jars or reused jars with some window clings and the battery-operated color-changing LED lights. I also added some of these window clings to just my regular candles to give it some Valentine's Day flair. For this project, I used a picture frame and I pulled it apart and added some window clings to make an easy sun catcher. I had some regular LED color changing candles, and all I did was go to the dollar store and grab some of their decals. I pulled off letters X's and O's to make hugs and kisses on my regular candles for a fun display. For this project, I grabbed a heart-shaped wreath form, some yarn, and a strand of lights. I started by wrapping the lights around the wreath form first, and then I wound the yarn around on top of the lights. What I love about this project is it can be left up year-round at my home because it fits in naturally. For this project, I just grabbed some decals and my heart-shaped mirror, and I placed a decal that was relevant to Valentine's Day, but actually could stay up for St. Patrick's Day or maybe even year-round, and place the decal on the mirror. When I'm done, I can just simply remove the decal and I'm all set. I'm using some battery-operated lights and this artwork from Dollar Tree. I started by turning the piece of artwork over to the back and then put the batteries into the lights and placed them onto the back of the artwork. I then hot glued the lights into place where I wanted them to be. Now all I have to do is turn them on, and now I can place this artwork anywhere I want it to be in my home. My light up Paris sign goes nicely by my front door on my little side table that says Paris on it. For this project, I'm using rub-on transfers and the ceramic heart that I found at Dollar Tree. Following the transfer instructions, I peeled the backing off and placed it onto the ceramic heart. Once I had that in place, I went ahead and used a credit card to rub all the transfer onto the ceramic heart. I carefully peeled the back off. This was to make sure that it was definitely transferred. If not, I would have put it back down and rubbed some more. Once it was peeled off, this project was done as well. I hung it up and I love how it turned out. Want to be notified of future videos? Look for the link in the description below. For this project, I'm using a package of dollar store wooden hearts. I'll be using Folk Art Ultra Dye, and I covered my hands with gloves to protect them from being stained or dyed, and I poured a little bit of the dye in a container, and then I used a paintbrush to paint it onto the wooden hearts. I went ahead and gave the hearts 2 coats so it would be a nice vibrant color, and then I let them dry completely. Now I love the Ultra Dye because it is water-based, so it cleans out of your brushes nice and easy. I grabbed some folk art stencils that I had, and these are wonderful silk screen stencils, and I peeled the back off and placed them onto each of the hearts. Next, I grabbed my folk art Sign Shop white paint and my squeegee brush. I placed the white paint at the top of each stencil, and then I used my squeegee brush to press down and make sure the paint went through the silk screen. Once all the paint was in place, I peeled up each of the stencils, washed them and cleaned them for a future use. Now, the dye did come through the white paint, so instead of it being white, it did turn a pink color instead, but I actually like the way it turned out. And then I let all of this dry completely. I hot glued all my wooden hearts to a little kite string and hung this by my mantle. For this project, I'm using a dollar store pillow cover and one of the stencils I had on hand. I opened up the pillow cover and placed a piece of wax paper in the center to help
prevent bleed through. I placed the stencil on top and added some stencil tape on the top and the bottom to hold the stencil into place. I'll be using Folk Art Home Decor chalk paint in the color white. I dipped my stencil brush into the white paint and then I offloaded all the excess paint onto my blue tray. If you don't do this step, you could end up with paint going underneath the stencil and causing bleeding. Once I had the stencil brush with paint ready, I tapped the paint up and down onto the fabric and stencil, transferring it onto the pillowcase. Once the entire stencil was completed, I carefully peeled off the stencil to reveal the design, and now I'll let that dry completely. And I added the pillow to the pillowcase and placed it on our couch.
For this project, I grabbed $3 store candles. I added 2 stickers, an I and a U to them, and I added a heart-shaped fuzzy sticker in the middle. So now it says, I love you. How easy is that? At the end of the season, if the candles aren't done, I simply pull them off and finish using the candles or add something else to them. For this project, I grabbed a dry erase board and then I placed a stencil on top. You can use stencil tape to hold it in place if you'd like. I grabbed a bunch of dry erase markers and I colored in the stencil. Once I was done, I peeled it back to reveal the design, and I can erase this and reuse it again and again for every holiday throughout the season. For this project, I'll be using a dollar store picture frame, some gallery glass, and some decals. First, I pulled apart the frame and removed the backing. I wouldn't need it. Then I opened up my gallery glass, dipped my finger in it, and started tapping the different colors, cleaning my finger off between until I had a lovely shade of rainbow colors all the way down the entire picture frame. Once the gallery glass had dried, I put it back into the picture frame, and then on the opposite side, I placed my decal. That was a heart shape, which is perfect for Valentine's Day. I put it all together and placed it in my window as a sun catcher. And I hope this inspires you to make some DIY Valentine crafts of your own. I'd love it if you'd subscribe to my YouTube channel and my blog at chascrazycreations.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Want 21 sensible home hacks to make you a smarter homeowner? Look for the link in the description below.